Dr. Hrabowski, welcome to Explorations in Black Leadership. We're pleased to have you with us today.
Thank you.
I want to begin with some questions about Brown v. Board of Education. I know you were 3 years old when the decision was handed down, but did you have any consciousness or as you grew older have some feelings about what it might mean?
Sure. I certainly did not at 3, but I did shortly after that because my parents were talking about where I would go to school. And I went to the first grade fairly early, and it wasn't a joke, but it was a statement made about Brown, and that Brown doesn't make a difference, because there was no choice.
Wow.
For years in Birmingham, schools were still segregated, and so one heard all the time that Brown had made a difference here in Birmingham. And finally, it was in high school, when I was probably in the 10th grade, that the first school was integrated. And that was a traumatic experience because white families came out when the black children were to go into the high school there in Birmingham. And unfortunately, they threw rocks. They were violent. And it was at that point that my parents said they would not put me in that situation. But that was my experience with Brown throughout. The only time I had a chance to think about integrated education was in the summers. My parents sent me to Massachusetts to see what it would be like to study in class with white children. And so I studied in Springfield, Massachusetts. But Brown in Birmingham, until I was in the 10th grade, meant that nothing was going to change. People didn't think that at that time we'd ever see schools changing or integrated in our city.
Now, all these many years later, do you have some feelings about what it has turned out to mean?
Yeah, I think that we can say with some certainty that large numbers of young people in our country of all races have had a chance to see what it's like to study in classrooms with children who are different from themselves. With that said, though, we do know that there is a movement towards back to more segregated situations than ever before. Some use the word hyper-segregation. And so, unfortunately, for millions of children of all races, everyone else in the classroom looks exactly the same.